What a wonderful day it is. What a beautiful morning. All kinds of interesting animals out here chirping. Hanging out. This 250-year-old tree. This thing is love. This thing has been communicating with us since, I think, even before we got here. Really kind of answering some prayers. I was on the verge of low-key homelessness and was immensely blessed by Spirit, by our community, by those that look out for one another. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Early bird gets the fucking worm, right? You know, people always wonder or think that I must be on Facebook all day, but in reality, I just have a high capacity. And I don't have a normal job like everyone else, you know? And so I'm able to document my experience while living it. While living it. While walking. While doing. While being. And one of the things I've come to realize while being in Texas is that it's not how the media portrays it, but it's not really a surprise. In reality, the part that I'm in is one of the most unified places that I've ever been to in this country, in America. There is such a total sense of unity here and welcoming. I've never been so welcomed, despite how I look. You know, and my question is, how the fuck do we expect to achieve anything on this planet if we cannot unify? You know, I see so many close friends of mine, so many people, they get upset with what I'm doing, or I even see people do it to other people as well. People get upset with other success, and that's just disgusting. You know, go find your own. Go. Let that be your inspiration to go be successful. To go empower your life. You know, don't hate on the ones doing it. And it's just a crazy. It's just sad. It's just sad that people lack so much that they feel a need to attack others that are succeeding, and even your closest friends and family. You know, I have found more support in complete strangers, but of course they aren't strangers in reality. You know, they're soul family. And you know, it's been quite an interesting journey. It's always love, though, always forgiving, accepting, and divinely understanding. I'm glad you love them, and for each person that does, it trumps any 10 that don't. Once again, as long as I can touch or shed light, bring hope to one person a day, then I have succeeded. And it's really just that simple. But back to the point, how could we ever build together if we can't be happy for one another? To me, these things just don't make sense. And another important thing is, be you. Be you. Do your own thing. Create your own movement. You know, you don't have to follow the crowd or you know, everyone, I guess, it's such a inauthentic aspect of unity. Everyone trying to do the same thing just because they want what others have. Find what you want. Find yourself. Only until you find yourself will you ever be able to pursue your purpose. Only until you find yourself will you ever be able to truly love another. You know, and these things are just basic principles of reality, of the self, of actualization, self-empowerment. But it's so nice to be around all brown people. I feel like I've been lied to my whole life. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad I got to experience the rigidness of the East Coast and the immense amount of racism and prejudice. And that's not to say that that's not here as well, because it's everywhere at the end of the day. But there's such an immense sense of unity here. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Everyone that we've come in contact has been just so accepting. And so just nice. Just so nice. You know, and people say hello to people that walk down the street here. You know, people are connecting with one another. It is a Christic state. That's what I'm beginning to realize. Despite the gangs and the other distortion, there's a lot of love in this place. But with a lot of love at this point in the planet's, ascension process, there's still a lot of polarities that need to be synthesized to neutrality. And I think that's one of the main reasons that we're here as well. We get called to where we need to go. And where we need to go is where we need to transmute frequencies, where we need to correct the grids in order to assist in this planetary ascension process. It's always perfect, always beautiful, always divinely aligned. There's no rush at the end of the day, because you cannot stop this. You can't stop this. You can only prolong it, deter it, get in the way. But we are reaching a point of critical mass to where the collective consciousness is about to shift. We only need something like 3% or something like that of the population to reach a high oscillating frequency in order to essentially hijack the collective primary neural network of this planet and be able to really get shit going. But it's already happening. It's beautiful to have been watching consciousness unfold since I can remember. In my only short 25-year lifespan, I've already seen it expand so much. I remember when there was a time where you couldn't even talk about 9/11, or you couldn't even talk about consciousness, and now it's almost become a trend, and there's a lot of people within the spiritual community that have been doing this for a long time and almost feel a little bit disrespected by that. But you know what? I employ it. I'm excited for it, because you know why? It gets more attention. And you know what happens where your attention goes? Energy flows. So pay more attention to it. It's okay, make it a trend. That's okay, that's fine. I love it. Only assisting in the process of speeding this all up. The more people that can become aware about it, the faster that we will flip everything upside down and create the world that we so wish to live in peace and harmony. We will only get this when we become it, when we are it. And it's just that simple. It's just that simple. Until you have found inner peace, you will never experience it externally. Ever. You will continue to face distortion in your life. You will continue to see wars. You will continue to see trauma and unwanted circumstances, But always, at the end of the day, it's for the highest good. It is for our own self-development, our own authentic understanding and perceptions. I wouldn't be able to appreciate this place if I had not experienced immense prejudice and racism where I live. And what sucks about being mixed is you experience it from all spectrums. And I chose to be this way because I'm here to break apart those barriers, to remove those labels, and to understand that we are universal in nature. I contain within myself the blood of every continent. I am all of you motherfuckers. To the blood, not just energetically, to the blood. And I hope that's not what it takes to create lasting peace. A race of everyone being mixed, is that what it's going to take? An alien invasion, is that what it's going to take for us to come together? Does it have to be this extreme? Are we too comfortable still to love one another just as they are? Are we still comfortable? Still too comfortable to come together and work with one another and support each other and create an entirely self-sustainable world? Imagine if we went from a war-based economy to a self-sustainable one. Pay for my ticket and I'll come right there. If anyone wants me to come anywhere, you can just pay for my expenses and I will gladly come. These things sadly cost money in this world, but we are abundant. At the end of the day, if it does take an apocalypse, it will be equally as beautiful, because an apocalypse is just a change. It is just a new beginning. And sometimes new beginnings take violence, take bloodshed, but it doesn't have to. And that's what I'm kind of trying to stress here, you know. But I love you guys. It's always a pleasure. That anyone even listens to what the fuck I have to say. Who am I? I find myself asking this every day. Who am I? Who's coming? Like, how does this information come through me? You know? How is this happening? But at the end of the day, stop questioning spirit and just be and just flow and just allow. Such an amazing time to be on this planet within this single vector timeline, within this single point, space and time, or the illusion of it anyway. So magnificent. Such a blessing. As always, it's been such an honor to commune with you all. I feel like a low-key savage. I haven't even explored this whole tree yet. What am I doing with my life? It's nice when you have the ability or the opportunity to be able to just be with nature. Not have to go, work a slave schedule, have someone tell you when you need to be somewhere. When you can just be and exist with this great mother, with Mother Nature. There's nothing more rewarding. And nothing more grounding. And speaking of grounding, I know a lot of people probably fucked up by that full moon, because I know we experienced some intense stuff that wasn't our shit, but what I'm going to be doing is basically offering a cleanse, but I'll probably also put out a live transmission in the afternoon, working with just any shit that kind of got kicked up to the surface that anyone might need any assistance clearing out. You know, we'll probably try to do a live transmission around noon, Midwest time. I don't even know what this fucking time is called. Is it Central? I don't even know. What is time anyway, right? If you tune in, you do. If you don't. It's always perfect, always divinely aligned. So it'd be awesome if you guys could make it. If not, no pressure. Got our crystals chilling out from that moonlight too. This is not a joke, you guys. Every single facet of our walking life is imbued with spirit. Every single part. And you know what? Our lives have no choice but to reflect this externally into our holographic three-dimensionalized projection. And it is so beautiful. I keep saying people really don't know how serious this is. For instance, our children are so sensitive, which is what inspired me. One of the things that inspired me to create this child protection service, you know, and child protection service as in helping children develop the tools they need to defend themselves from negative entities or their own inner fears. And what was my point? Oh, you know, realizing that our kids are affected by these either negative entities or, you know, just disharmonic resonances in the air. When we stayed here the first night, our daughter was crying the entire night. I had to do work the entire night. I had to clear the space the entire night. And you know what we did yesterday? We cleaned the whole house, cleansed the whole house, removed any clutter, cleaned out all those corners. And you know what? They didn't make a peep last night. They didn't make not one noise. And that's why I'm trying to stress how serious this is, because when it affects your children, you take it a lot more seriously than those that it doesn't. And you see how real it is when the children who have no conscious perception of these things are directly affected by it. Which is why cleansing and grounding and incorporating these things into your daily patterns or habits or routines is extremely, immensely imperative. Unless, of course, you'd like to live a life full of distortion. You know, but I digress, and I am being summoned by the children. Speaking of them, right? Coming, son. I love you guys so much. Thank you for viewing. It's been an honor, as always. Hit you with some limp deuces. Peace.